Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Friday, the 15th day of March, 2024, Friday of the fourth week of Lent. It is the 26th day of the Lenten season. It's a kind of quiet day here on the campus at St. Francis. There is no school, there is no preschool. Instead, the parish staff is having a Lenten day of reflection. And so Mass will be just beginning in a few minutes. I kind of not on staff, so I have to go. I have to go do other things too for Bishop. So, but today on this Friday of the fourth week of Lent, we get closer and closer to the conclusion of Lent, moving closer and closer to the glory of the Easter season. The Book of Wisdom opens up for us today, and in the Book of Wisdom, there is the great, the great evaluation, I guess it is, of the works of the wicked. And, what is it that the wicked want to do? Well, they want to get rid of the just ones. They want to get rid of those who challenge. They want to get rid of those who speak differently. They want to get rid of those, perhaps who speak more from the heart than from intrigue or selfishness or malice or whatever it is. Those who reveal the truth of things that people do not want to see. Those who try to be prophets within our midst. The wicked tries to get rid of all of those by saying terrible things about them, by destroying their reputations, and even perhaps by destroying the just themselves. But what the Book of Wisdom says is that this is where the wicked again move into foolishness, because again, hatred and anger and all those other kinds of things, they can never ever do anything productive, because they are motivated by things that come again from darkness, from those areas of our life that are never fully thought out and do not consider all the consequences because of our actions. And because of this, the wicked, in trying to get rid of those who are just, are not understanding the counsel of God and the wisdom of God in all of this. That this is why the just exist. It's not because of their own initiative, but because of God's initiative and what God wants, them to be able to do for, again, those who are afraid to see it, to be able to see it, and then to be able to do it. And because it comes from God, the work of the just, although it may seem as though, again, it falls into disaster, it falls into tragedy and woe, can never be undone, can never be useless and worthless, because the work of the just is from God, and that will always succeed because God always succeeds. It's important, I think, for us to remember that, because again, we can look at the world and see its terrors and its horrors and its pains, and and think that those who are trying to solve the issues are basically barking up the wrong tree and doing something that comes to meaninglessness. And that's not true, because if their work is inspired by God, if it is led by God, if it is guided and counseled by God, they can only come to good. It can only result in what is good, and in healing and in peace, and in glory for all of us. In the Gospel today, from John's Gospel, again, Jesus says he stopped talking a little bit to the scribes and Pharisees, although he is still teaching, walking around Galilee and into the synagogues and things like that. He says that he avoids Judea, but then he sort of ends up in the temple and he's preaching there, and the people are like, isn't this the one that they're trying to kill? Why is he walking out in public like this? And he can't be the Messiah, because we don't know where the Messiah will come from. This, the prophecies have said, but this one we know where he comes from. He comes from Galilee, and Jesus basically says, again, your prophecies may have been helpful for some points of time, but they're wrong. God doesn't usually use prophecy in the way that we want God to use prophecy. And so here you have something that who he is. Jesus says, who I am, and where I am from, and yet you refuse to listen to me again and again and again. And it's like, again, why is it that you're stopping to do this? Why is it that you don't want to listen, to hope, to life, to love? Why is it that you want to only listen to condemnation and punishment, and a God who favors only one part and neglects another part? Why would you ever want to have a God who is like that? And the people basically want to arrest him, but as it says at the end of this passage, it is not yet his hour, and so their attempt does not work out. Again, it is this whole thing about why is it that we constantly focus upon what is bad, what is not good, what seems to be failing again and again and again. Why don't we focus on what it is that can give life, that can give us, a better sense of ourselves and of this world around us. That is what God wants. That is what God asks from us. And this is what this Lenten season has constantly been trying to, inform us with and shape us with throughout these, 26 days so far. Let it continue to shape us. Let it continue to offer us a view of this world that offers hope and healing and wonder and beauty to so many who are in need of it. A continued blessed Lent, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.